Social media these days is full of stories of adults discovering their neurodivergence later in life. For Dr. Samantha Hiew, that revelation came at age 40, and it not only changed her career trajectory, but sparked a mission.
I see myself as somebody who has created a platform where I could increase the representation of people who are like me, because when I started, there were really not enough of us, and it made this journey really hard.
The journey that would ultimately land Samantha on stage speaking in front of crowds started in a lab. In school, Samantha got interested in biology, and eventually she pursued a PhD in cancer research. But her love of science was not enough to overcome her symptoms.
When I finished my PhD, I lost confidence in myself as a scientist because I was working in a field where I love the knowledge, I love learning, and I love, collecting different ideas together and testing them in the lab. But what I wasn't good at was a part of my ADHD where I couldn't help, was that I wasn't consistent, with my experiments. I was working with cell lines where I had to grow in the lab in cultures. I then, forget to look after my cell lines, some of them overgrow. And then it gets to a point where, I didn't really trust my results.
Samantha says that after going through an existential crisis, she found a new career in writing. But things really took off when she finally began to understand why her mind worked differently.
When the pandemic hit, I was a second-time mom, and at the time, life became more challenging than usual. And so it made me really, try and get some answers about, why I was more overwhelmed, than most people would be. And so I came across somebody who was talking about ADHD, and not just ADHD, but ADHD as in how that it presents in women. And everything that she said was, what I identified with. And so that got me, to pursue, and open up this whole world where I spoke to other women who, have the neurodevelopmental condition. So that gave me more answers. I was looking for a place where I could be happy and engaged and interested in the same way that I was in the early days of being a scientist. And so when I was looking into ADHD, it really helped me think that actually my value is in explaining to people the traits and the manifestations of neurodivergence that you see, where that originates. Because I like to say that there's always an explanation behind each behavior, and behavior is a form of communication. And if we could get curious and understand that actually there's a reason behind everything, down to the fact that with someone with ADHD, you have an entirely different brain and neurochemistry altogether. And so of course we are going to be different, and trying to make neurodivergence fit into this wall and do as everyone else does is the problem in the first place.
For students navigating the world with ADHD and their parents, Samantha offers some advice.
I would always say look for the helpers, people who are kind to you, and any kind of nurturing teachers, that you could find in your corner. Anyone who is kind enough to give you some time, to really see you for who you are and the things that you are good at, because it's no coincidence that any of the neurodivergents who manage to get anywhere in life has had this charismatic adult, somebody who, shone a light on them and made them believe in themselves. And also, help work them to their strengths, so that can really change, your entire life. My advice for parents raising children with learning differences is to advocate for them in the school setting, so that they can at least get the support that they need within the school environment, because that, really dictates so much of the development of their self-esteem and also, where they go in life. And then in the home, anything that would help, charge the neurodivergent brain, in terms of ADHD, just introducing more movement, having a structure and routine to your day, because, living in typical chaos, you really crave structure and routine. And to make sure that, you feed them with the right foods, because everything starts from the gut. The gut is the second brain. And, in order to have a healthy brain, you need a good, gut and good nutrition. Make sure they sleep well, and a lot of lifestyle factors involved as well.
Sharing these tools and more is how Samantha sees herself helping other women and girls with ADHD thrive in society. Through her social impact company called ADHD Girls, she's helping women find ways to excel in all aspects of their lives, and also transform the way employers manage their neurodivergent workforce.
Creating ADHD Girls, even though it wasn't obvious at the time where it was going to go. But looking back now, in hindsight, is a beautiful thing, isn't it? It's a culmination of all the skills and interests and strengths that I have accumulated over the 10 years and the 20 years of being a scientist and living in existential crisis, exploring into so many different places, and they all come together. So I feel like right now I'm plugged into this place where I could really make a huge impact, and I needed to know like how I would use this platform, in a way that is more authentic to me and could generate the most, impact on people's lives.
For A World of Difference, I'm Luisa Ardila.